What's up, fam? It's your girl, Sis, a.k.a. Selena Lena.
And your boy, Lil Bro, a.k.a. Titus.
You are now locked into Sis N Lil Broments with conversations about real life, God, and music.
I don't get it. Why they always hate on Christians?
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Selena Lena, a.k.a. Sis, and I got...
It's your boy, Lil Bro, a.k.a. Titus. We'd like to welcome y'all to the Sis N Lil Broments podcast. We got the crew here with us. We appreciate y'all being here.
We're going to talk about romantic relationships, y'all. We're here to be open. We're here to be honest. We're talking about life, God, music, and today's topic is romantic relationships. First things first, we're going to really quick go around the room and just pop in your name. I'm going to go this way. Titus, you're going to go this way. So to my left, I have...
I'm Andrew.
Aniji.
Javion.
Blaze. Devontae.
Genesis.
Hector.
And to my right, we have...
I'm Braylon.
I'm Bree.
Coach Shep.
Brandon.
Meek.
Tion.
Okay, so we're going to hop right into this, bro, okay? So first question that we're going to talk about, what is love and how do you know that you're in love? Y'all feel free to interject, interrupt each other, you know what I'm saying? Just, we're going to pop it off. Yeah. First of all, actually, real quick, raise your hand if you're in a relationship right now. Raise it high.
All right, so that's about 4. Jesus. It's about...
Hold on, wait.
Okay, fine, my fault.
Like...
my fault. I was thinking about that, my bad.
Okay, so, yeah, what is love? How do you know that you're in love?
I don't know. It just really depends on the person that you're asking. And I also depends on the situation, who it is that you're referring to. I feel like there's so many different variables that you have to consider before you like solidify what love is. But and like I guess the scale of love, like because I feel like love is on a scale base as far as like how much you love somebody or how much you care about somebody to, you know, a different type of love for somebody, whether that's intimate or platonic or a friendship type of love or brotherhood. So it can be different things. But I honestly feel like at the end of the day, love is accountability because someone that loves you they're gonna make sure that you like hear what you need to hear. And I guess like they're gonna do things or say things that are out of love, even though to you, you might feel like it hurts or it might feel like it's an attack. But in reality, they have a different lens and they can see something that you may not be able to see. But at the same time, not like attacking you or like, you know, knocking you or trying to see the speck in your eye when they still dealing with their own logs. I don't know. I can keep going on about that, but
I think you said love is accountability. If my teacher is accountable to me or I'm accountable to my teacher, like
you love her.
Yes, but I'm talking about romantic love. Exactly. Like, how do you know that you in love?
Yeah.
Here, brother, you have something.
I don't got the answer, Sway, but I could say, I don't know. I feel like love is like, well, it's kind of subjective and then per situation, but I feel like we don't know truly what love is until we define what love is within ourselves, until we love ourselves to be able to transmute that within our reality. So it's like we got to take that time for self to be able to love self in order to give love and to be able to receive as far as the laws of reciprocity and stuff like that. I don't know, but I'm just guessing. I'm just talking. So, yeah.
So would y'all agree from what he just said, would y'all agree that according to him, it's what I heard, love is, you can't love no one unless you love yourself. Do you agree with that?
Yes. I definitely agree with that. I think that, because I guess to show love, you're giving it. You know what I'm saying? You can't give nothing that you don't have, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to have love for yourself before you can really give it. My definition of love is interesting. I think love is a choice. You choose to love anybody around you. Specifically, I know we're talking about like relationships. You choose to love that person. Now, being in love with them, I think is like, and again, I don't have the answers, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Like when that other person inspires you to draw the best side of yourself or like who you personally haven't been or like, you know what I'm saying? What you're striving to be. That if that person inspires you, then I feel like you might be in love. But that's my definition, I say.
Go ahead. Selena, you say you disagree. Before he spoke, you say you disagree. Okay.
Yes, I disagree.
Go ahead.
Please. No, I'd love to hear that.
Here.
The reason why I disagree when y'all say like, I feel like, let's just say that I'm in a position where I don't love myself. I know that I love my mama. I know that I love my dad. I know that I love like the family around me. I'm just going through a season where I don't love myself and I don't have self-confidence in me. So what you think about that, bro?
I would, just to respond to Selena, I think I'm on the side that you have to know how to love if you're going to love. You can't love prematurely. And if you try to love prematurely, odds are you're probably not doing it right. Now, is there a right way to love? I mean, it's up in the air. But like she said, if she doesn't love herself, but she loves her mother, are you sure you're loving your mother right? Because if you don't love yourself, maybe that's not showing love to your mother because she would want you to love yourself first. And that's a sign of loving her.
I would describe romantic love. Obviously, we're all coming from different backgrounds and perspectives, so we all have different things that we prefer. I think romantic love obviously roots in a general love from God. I would say like obviously God is love. Like we gonna call a spade, right? Like it's as simple as it can get. But obviously there's different tiers to that, and like you said, like we're talking specifically romantic. So I feel like talking about how to like what being in love would be, I would just say that that's a decision between two people to put yourself aside to take care of their needs. I ironically also agree with you that I don't think you have to love yourself in order to love another person. However, I do think in order to love a person holistically and consistently, there has to be a fountain that you pull from.
The only thing I was gonna add to that is just like maybe love is just like you can only like what Selena says, like you may not love yourself at that moment or you love your mom, but maybe like also agreeing with Titus saying that, you know, maybe you just don't know how, maybe it's not like portrayed the way you might think it is, but I also feel like love is, you can only extend it as much as you know it or like, I guess, like understand it. So, or understand yourself. So like, yeah, loving yourself, but if you only love yourself to this moment, like to this point, I feel like you can only extend that love to someone else to that point because, I mean, you don't have the capacity yet to like give more. But also I feel like love is natural. I feel like it's one of those things where like you don't really have to force it. It just kind of comes naturally. And I feel like it's, you kind of know maybe when it's not, I wouldn't describe it as butterflies. It's more so of like, and I don't describe it as inspiration. I would more so describe it as like a shock and awe. Like you're kind of like in this awe with that person. Like, I don't know, you're just like almost fantasizing like where you see yourself with that person without really realizing you're doing that. Almost kind of like you're vetting them. And I feel like when you start doing that, that's when you like start to realize like you possibly might love that person.
In order to determine whether or not you're in love, we kind of need to classify the two different kinds of love that there are. There's true love and then there's fabricated love. You know, before the relationship I'm in now, I was in a 2-year relationship where, you know, everybody goes through the honeymoon phase in a relationship where the first 3 months you're like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing in the world. And then you argue and you're like, you know. So, and about 6 to 9 months into that relationship, I started having doubts. And then it got to the point where it was like, I wouldn't wake up in the morning excited to talk to this person. I'd wake up in the morning going, oh my gosh, I hope she's the one of the 12 personalities that she has, you know? So, and when you start having thoughts like that, and I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying that only a certain group of people can have that, because I imagine I'm so hard-headed, I've probably had a girl or two think that about me. But, you know, at that point, you realize that you're not in it to be in it. You're in it because you're so used to it, and you don't want to know what it feels like to be out of that cycle that you've put yourself in. And, you know, it goes along with that saying, you can't wait on breaking a cycle that you have, because the longer you wait, the harder it gets to break it. Yeah. And when you're in that fabricated love cycle, you kind of trick yourself into thinking, okay, this is what true love feels like, even though I'm absolutely miserable. You know? So, and I ended up having to break that cycle. The girl that I'm with now, we have an insane story that if I get the chance to share while I'm here, I will, because I absolutely love talking about her. But leading off to the fabricated and true love thing, the way you know you're in true love is kind of playing off of what Meek said. You know, you kind of find yourself in this daze that you inadvertently think about this person. You inadvertently find yourself around this person. You inadvertently find yourself doing stuff with this person. Eventually your entire life surrounds the fact of, oh my gosh, I wonder if this person is going to be here. I can't wait to talk to this person. You kind of subconsciously infatuate yourself with that person. And at that point, I feel like that's whenever you can determine if you're truly in love or not.
Well, to that question, I just wanted to ask, are we talking in a biblical sense of love, or are we just talking in a secular? Because,
Real quick, to answer your question, not everybody here is Christian.
okay, so I'm going to still go the direction I was going to go.
Just be yourself. Just be yourself.
Because 1 Corinthians 13 gives us a blueprint of what love is. And it starts off, love is patient, love is kind, love is not self-seeking, love is not boasting, love doesn't keep record of wrongs. And to go to what you're saying, in 3 months, after that first 3 months, that's when you get to you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this, I don't like how you do this, I don't like how you do that. And then, unless you guys can come to a point where you can be accountable or I don't like how you put your shoes on today. It might be a silly complaint to you, but to that person, that's not how they were used to doing it. So they don't like it. So now they're like, oh, I can't deal with this. I'm not going to deal with this. And then it just starts to create rifts. Once the rifts start getting, more, starts creating craters. And now you're on two opposite ends of where y'all thought y'all could have been. To me, I think love is, like you said, you're thinking about that person all day, every day. You wake up, you want to talk to that person. I mean, that's the same way with my relationship with Christ. I wake up and the first thing I do is, I love you, Jesus. Thank you for waking me up this morning. You know what I'm saying? Then next thing I do, I call my kids, just so I can talk to them because I love my kids. You know what I'm saying? And so when I do get into a relationship, I imagine that it's going to be a reflection of my relationship with Christ.
Mm-hmm. I hear that. Go ahead. I'll let you answer this, and then we're going to move on to the next question. Feel free to, all these questions obviously relate to one another, so if you want to go back and speak on it, feel free. After you answer this question, we're going to transition to what are some things you look for? Like, what do you vet out in a relationship? What are the characteristics that you might look for if you're looking for love? Go ahead.
All right. I know we mentioned a little bit about self-love and how that's important too. Don't get me wrong. But I think we also have to understand, is self-love self-obsession? Or is self-love actually developing standards and boundaries for yourself in order to see growth between you and yourself, either you and yourself with God or just yourself in general? Because I feel like we have placed self-love in such a pedestal where now it's all about me, myself, and I. It's all about me, like obsession-wise. I'm not talking about, gratitude-wise and understanding, your worth. That's there. But it's gotten to the point where you're just so obsessed with yourself that if you do enter a relationship with that mindset, it can become very toxic. It can become very manipulative in some ways. And I think I've heard a couple here and there about how love is almost like a feeling aspect. And yes, there is that point too where love can have an emotional tie to it. That's how some people can be so tied to a person, even though they haven't had, sexual intercourse. They can be emotionally tied and connected with that person. Some people say, oh yeah, we vibe with each other, or chemistry-wise. And I get what you mean, Blaze, is, that 2-3 months, and you start to, you don't really feel like you once felt in the beginning of the relationship, that pursuit. But yet there's that love decision, and it's like a free choice, free will, to choose to pursue that person regardless if you feel it or not. And I think that's powerful as well as for choice. Yeah.
So a lot of people ask, what do you look for in a relationship? That's not the question. What do you look for to be in love? Because we know all relationships aren't love. So what are some of those things that you vet out when you're looking for love?
And then I feel like you should also just answer that too. Since because you're in a relationship, but yeah. Okay.
Well, I've been in a relationship for just over 3 years now. It's my first relationship, so.
Stop being quiet.
I think, from my perspective, I would just say someone who loves you as much as they love themselves, in the sense that they're willing to sacrifice as much, if not more than you, for the things that you are passionate about. Obviously, I do music. I was a college athlete for 5 years in grad school, so I got a lot going on. Not typical of a normal student who might have 6 hours to hang out with their girlfriend. So like being understanding of that and still finding a way to understand, but also love through that. By that I mean find ways to, I hope this don't sound as bad, but like fit into the schedule. Like obviously I'm gonna make time for my girlfriend because I love my girlfriend, but at the same time, she understands that I have other commitments that I have to adhere to, I have to take care of. But if you do get an hour or 2 hours to go on a romantic date and actually spend quality time together, like don't take that for granted. Don't take advantage of that. Don't just blow it off. Like understand how important that is. So I think having someone that really understands, that's one of the biggest things I would say love consists of, is understanding one another. And obviously that comes to a lot of things, communication, being with each other, chemistry, stuff like that. So understanding is a big thing for me.
Amen. I think initially when I was looking for love, I mean, I don't think I was ever really looking, so there's that. But I think my two standards that I had, because I was a teenager and I didn't have much of an expansive definition of love, was just that she had to love Jesus more than me, and in an evident like way. Like I'm not very closed off in my faith. I want it to be obvious. And then she had to be a better singer than me. So here she is. So I think there's that. But I think something that I wish I would have added when I was in my teenage years was, I think, adding to this whole conversation of like being able to love yourself. I think I wish I knew the values that I had, or would have created the values that I wanted for myself as a person, like who I wanted to be. And although like I focused a lot on my own personal growth and my personal relationship with Jesus, again, I wasn't really focused on relationships. I wish I knew some of those values that were uncompromising, you know? And I think that within a relationship that is a romantic and a real relationship that has real love, it's long suffering, but it doesn't compromise your values.
Okay, I just want to say, y'all, I love how deep that y'all getting, right? But when I first heard the question, like off bat, what I look for, okay, in a person, first of all, you got to be attractive. Okay, like you got to be attractive first of all, because if I'm not attracted to you, like I'm not gonna be looking at you, you know. So you got to be attractive. What?
So you're hard to look at.
No, you got to be attractive. Like you got to be. Say what?
She said it has to be some type of attraction.
Yes, you got to be attractive for one, and it all varies. But for me,
Okay. I mean,
okay, he can chime in real quick. Did you want to chime in?
Yeah. No.
Go ahead.
I literally might just real quick. Or did you?
No, chime in real quick. Go ahead.
Me, I'm chiming in.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
perfect.
We can
I'm gonna be very quick. One of the biggest things that I feel like bring all my walls down and I'm like ready to fall in love with you is investment. Like if you pick up on the little things, you saw that I like wearing purple socks specifically on Tuesdays, and you like, why you like wearing purple socks? And I'm like, wow, like you notice little things about me. Like you're not just here for the big, like, because we all have really, really good moments when you're at your top, you're always in the gym, you're hitting your protein goals, your waves are fire. Like you're like fully you that you want to be. And then there's also like, dang, I haven't gotten out of bed, the dishes ain't done, and like my face is breaking out. Like, so if you notice throughout all of that, all the parts that are still me, and like you make an investment to be like, oh, like, hey, I noticed that like you don't eat them a lot, so I was wondering, like, do you want them now? Like, I don't know, like stuff like that. I feel like investment's huge. Like, I'm like, oh wow, like that's like rare, I feel.
And then the other thing too that I look for is, for me personally, like, okay, I was gonna say he has to be a man of God. But no, listen, no, for real, like, okay, he has to be a man of God, but at the same time, I'm also, he has to, for me, he has to at least know that God exists and that he's open to a relationship with God. Raise your hand if loving God is not a requirement for a person for you. Raise your hand if it's not a requirement.
Like initially?
Yeah, initially when you meet them, like, so y'all all, so by the look of the room, y'all all think,
what are we doing this way? Because
Yeah, say
people
it this way.
naturally, especially religious people, naturally religious people are gonna be like, well, if they don't love God, like,
Right. No, I want y'all to be.
I don't think I know she's trying to say, but
People can say they love God, but you gotta look at their lifestyle.
Give her a mic.
Sorry, I keep talking without a mic. I was gonna say, I mean, we could say I want someone that loves God. From experience, I've had people that said they were Christian or they love God, and then how they treat you, your actions, your lifestyle. I'm like, wait, do you really? Are you just? What is the word? Christian by name, but not lifestyle.
Not practice.
That's a huge part for me.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna keep it a band. I'm gonna be real. I believe in God. I believe in God, and I'm not gonna say like I fall into any sector, but I know I got a connection. You feel me? So that means something. Like there's been real situations where I stopped dealing with people because they don't believe in something. You feel me? Because I feel like if you don't, what you living for, like if you ain't got no type of, you feel me? I don't know how to explain it. Like I'm not just gonna act like I'm just, you feel me? I'm spiritual. There you go. I'm spiritual. Like I believe in a higher power. I believe in all of that. But it's like, it's different. I feel like it's different ways to connect. That's why I say I'm not trying to go back to self, but like literally when you tap in with yourself, I feel like you tapping in with God. Like I don't know how to explain it. I feel like, I don't know. If you go deeper, you learn more about the root. And the root, like, I don't know. It's like, it's different.
For me, it does matter whether or not you believe in God or not, or like believe in that higher power. Just because my personal life, me trying to walk my life not thinking that God is real, is going to make my life a lot harder. So me being tethered to someone that doesn't really believe in God, you're going to make my life naturally harder just because of the way that you will naturally just make decisions in your life. But I would say that not being yoked the same definitely could present its issues because I'm not Christian, but I also believe in God in the way I pursue and the way I'm Torah observant. It's just like I'm different, and I'm set apart from different people, but at the same time, we believe in the same higher power. So I believe that not being yoked the same can present its issues, but it just depends on how you and your significant other choose to, I guess, attack those maybe potential problems, because they're maybes. They're not problems unless you make them problems. But at the end of the day, yeah, I do believe that is definitely a requirement just because of how I live my own life. But at the same time, what I look for and vet for, I love the way that you use the word vet, because like I don't date, I vet, because at the end of the day, I'm vetting for a wife and someone to be with for the rest of my life. And it's not just a wife, but it's also a business partner and someone that like is a therapist, but not my therapist, someone that I can like, pretty much be my what is it, a sharpening stone? I'm a blade and she's my sharpening stone. So it's like, at the end of the day, I need substance.
Yeah, so I think that they don't necessarily have to be like in right standing with God, like, or like you said, have been saved already. I do think they have to be like curious or wanting to like understand, some sort of curiosity, not like, oh, I'm open to it. Open to it is very vague to me. You know what I'm saying? Like you can be open to jumping off a cliff, but are you gonna do it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like it looks cool, but like you know the chances of you actually doing it. And no disrespect, but like I'm not here to like see, you know what I'm saying? Like sit here and wait to see what you already know. So yeah, it's more about there's got to be some sort of curiosity, and it's regardless like. With my walk with God, like I'm always learning. So we're both gonna just learn, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no, oh, I'm your teacher, this and that. Like I'm gonna teach you this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like we're in different stages maybe with our walk, but at the same time, like we're just learning. So that's what I say.
Yeah, I think for me it's that, someone who does love the Lord, she does follow the Lord. I think that's the difference too, follow the Lord too. And I think for me personally, I've experienced where, okay, I see this person, she is attractive. Okay, she's got, all these checklists off, like, oh, like I could actually be myself or be with her, imagine myself with her, but she's not a Christian. And then you have that, that thought, of, well, Lord, if If you could do something now, if you could do a miracle, Lord, I'm here. And then you have this dating evangelizing type of mindset where you're evangelizing her to ultimately, date with her, to one day have a wife with her. And maybe she does come to know the Lord. But we shouldn't misrepresent God's mercy as permission.
All right, what do I look for? I ain't gonna lie. I just want a shorty I could like be myself with, you feel me? I just wanna, I just wanna feel totally like cool and serene. Like after you come in from the world, being like, I live a different, I don't know how to explain it, but like, you feel me? People go through stuff and like, not even on no victimization stuff. It's just like throughout life, you feel me? You want someone who understand you, dig? Like someone who will safe space. Like, damn, girl, I love you. Like, I love you. Like, damn, shorty, like, I don't want to live without you. You feel me? Like, I don't know. Like, it gotta really be like,
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. So
That's dope.
let's talk.
Let's talk.
The question is, can love create lust? Can lust create love?
That's deep.
You want to take the first stab? Selena, since you want to call me out. No, go ahead.
Okay.
We got a new speaker.
We got a new speaker in the building.
I do want to answer the second part of that question, Selena. Titus, does lust create love? I think lust does create love, but the type of love it creates is like a really very like unstable love. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, my voice is shaking. But I think love should have a stronger root than just lust. Because I feel like once it's just lust, you're kind of just thinking about this person from a physical aspect. And once that goes away, so does that love go away. So it's not a very stable type of love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. To be honest, like a lot of us are not waiting to have sex when we date. A lot of people would say that, yes, like, okay, yeah, we've been having sex first, and then we get to know the person. It's just all wrapped into one, but I actually love this person, and that's why I'm gonna stay with this person. Now, that's not my personal way of approaching a relationship, because I think that's backwards. Does anybody agree with that? Go ahead.
You better speak.
I agree. I think, well, for one, actually, I want to take it into a different direction. So let me have her speak first because, yeah.
Mine's gonna be quick. I was just gonna say, when I think of, like, I'm gonna just go off of me. When I think of love, I cannot detach it from literally thinking God is love. So when I think, can God create lust? Obviously, the answer to me is no. However, like, the further along you go, it can get really complex. So it's like, well, God made human beings and human beings lust. So technically love made lust. Like my brain just thinks like that for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. The other way around, can lust create love? Two people who are fornicating, which in my eyes and like how I choose to interpret scripture is a sin.
I don't think lust can create love. I think lust can turn into love. I think that both of them can switch. But I think it's all about heart posture at the end of the day. Like, what did you get into this relationship for to begin with? Like, are you looking to just have a person just to be your mom? Are you looking for this person to like make sure you don't feel depressed anymore because you can't deal with your own inner thoughts? Like, I think those are things that aren't okay to obviously happen, whatever. But like, let's say you date this person out of lust, right? And then this person actually knows how to love themselves, right? And they know how to love you. And then they teach you, hey, you don't need me to not be depressed. You have a better source. Let's go this way. And then you can start to create love, which is like, I guess, real love, whatever, like through lust, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Amen.
Yeah, to add to that, I like that. I think that lust can create love, but it's not like pure love. It's like fabricated love, which takes me to what you were talking about as like, you're almost like, you're making it. When something's fabricated, it's not like it's true value. It's just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's off brand. You know what I'm saying? It's off brand. So exactly, counterfeit. So that's what you're doing now. Does love make lust? I don't think so. Not love in its purest form. Like, and the only form pure enough to me to like kind of like differentiate the two or compare it to is the love that God has for us. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
While they pass the mic, my answer is short, sweet, and simple. There's 8 billion people in the world, so my answer is yes. There's 8 billion people and 8 billion different minds, so it's got to have happened at least once. You know?
I agree with that.
I damn near forgot what I was going to say.
It was about lust and love.
About lust and love. Oh yeah, I was gonna hit on the fabricated because I heard like I'm gonna be real. Like, how can we say what's fabricated and what's not? I feel like just because something might not work out in the way that you may perceive it should doesn't mean it was fabricated or not real. I feel like no one can really just say what love is. I mean, yeah, if you believe in God, I get you. But like, you can't really define what it is until you experience it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta really know, and you'll know.
I feel that. So when we all answer this question, we can just pop our answers real quick. But finish this sentence, okay? I'm gonna read it. Let me get my handy dandy notebook real quick, y'all. Hold on. Okay, so finish this sentence. You know you're meant to be single right now if. Wait, say that again. You know you're meant to be single right now if.
I'm being my authentic self, but I said you're not supposed to be in a relationship if you don't got your shit together. As in, like, for me, as a man, like, if I don't have my own crib, if I don't got my own money, if I don't got shit, like, I'm sorry, but if I don't have these things in order, like, I can't, like, think about romance. I just can't. Like, it's just not, I mean, I can think about it, but don't mean I'm gonna act on it. Because, again, that energy needs to go back into myself. That energy needs to go into my foundation. That energy needs to go into establishing myself as a human being, the best individual I can be, so I can attract the person I desire and or want in my life. So at the end of the day, you ain't supposed to be in a relationship if you don't got your together, and just put it at that. Like, focus on you.
You know you are meant to be single right now if you can't be wrong.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I gotta just gonna piggyback off of me, not to the whole self-love part of it, but if I know that I can't provide and that's what's in my natural to provide, I'm not finna be even thinking about date. Like, if my money ain't right, I'm not even finna go there. It ain't even a topic on my mind at that time, because it's like, okay, let me get myself back to what I know I can be at, and then I can start considering thinking about getting into a relationship or vetting or courting somebody. But until then, it's like, nah, let me get this grind up, you know what I'm saying? So that when the time comes, I can be that protector, that provider, for my wife and my family.
Can you elaborate what you mean by if you can't be wrong?
Like, if you can't talk to somebody who really cares about you and hear something you don't agree with and try your best to be understanding and apply that to your life, you have no business. Like, you barely even having friends, because I'd just be so frustrated. I'm like, bro, I'm sitting here talking to you and I love you. And this is not him. I love you, my love. This is not about you. And I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you and I'm trying to tell you, like, you sound crazy when you talking in groups of people. Like, you're just saying very harsh, crass, like, you sound stupid. I'm trying to help you so we can look good and you can look good and you can be the best version of yourself. And you're like, no, because of this small little plucked hair that I want to focus on, and I'm not going to see the full picture because the word that you use and the way that you connected it to this word isn't how I liked it. Like, if you just can't be wrong in any scenario and you can't see yourself in the lens of, like, dang, I probably actually could have done that better, like, and you don't have a humble approach to things, like, you're going to destroy the other person in a relationship. Because I feel like if you really love somebody, like it was tossed around the idea of accountability, right? Like, you're going to want to hold somebody accountable. And at a certain point, you can't just be complacent and be like, oh yeah, like, you do everything right. I'm obsessed with you. I never want you to change. Like, that's kind of selfish. I feel like that's a selfish love. That's my perspective. So if you love, yeah, it's unrealistic. Like, obviously we don't be liking our friends sometimes. Like, so obviously my significant other, who I see 24/7 and I see the worst parts of you, I'm going to correct that because it's not cute and I want the same. So I need to approach it as, you're my mirror. You're trying to your best. Like, I know you didn't put it right. I know that I'm specifically insecure about it, so I want to defend myself. You didn't fully understand it how I wanted you to understand it, or I feel like you're attacking me. If you can still in those positions, like, try your best to keep your composure, to remain humble, and to see the love in another person. Like, I feel like that hurdle of like, oh, he's so hard-headed, or like she just never apologizes, can just be like eradicated in a lot of situations.
Man, where were you a year and a half ago?
I'm gonna let you answer. Tion, were you gonna say something?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna answer and go ahead.
Me? Okay.
If you know you're meant to be single right now, if it's all about you. And
Absolutely.
I mean, y'all can, I'm pretty sure y'all can interpret that, but relationships, love, you have to be outside of yourself. It can't be all about you. It can't be selfish. It requires understanding, accountability, all the things we talked about. It requires that, but for another person as well. So if it's all about you, you can't be a relation. Being single is meant for you at that time. Go ahead.
I completely agree with that, actually. I think what I was going to say, it still kind of like goes along those lines is, or also along what you were saying, like you're meant to be single if you're not intentional with your friendships. I think there is, for myself, like chill. I'm not done speaking.
I taught you that.
For myself, I definitely, although like I have great friends, like back in Chicago, I'm from Chicago, but I have great friends, whatever. And although it was like, you know, like I had great friends, and it was obviously because of proximity, like I'm always with them, this and that, whatever. So I never had to think about being intentional about somebody else. But when you're in a relationship, it's very intentional. You gotta if you can't plan either, come on, like you're not ready. You're meant to be single right now. Like you need to learn how to plan and all that, you know. And so, yeah, I think that's stuff that I'm even learning right now. You know, like I hate being intentional, but I'm sure if I would have grown that muscle in my friendships, it would have been a lot easier in this relationship right now too. So
I feel like there's like telepathy or something going on, because I swear I was like, okay. But anyway, I also feel one more thing. Like I feel like you're not meant to be in a relationship yet if you don't understand what like compromise and sacrifice mean. Because relationships are all about compromise and sacrificing. Because there's gonna be some things that I don't want to do. Like you want to take 1,000,000 pictures, cool, but can you compromise? Like I'll take 10. I'll compromise. I'll take 10. But when I say done, we done. Like you know, like so just like that give and take as far as like understand like just who your partner is and what they do and what they don't like, and just being willing to like sacrifice. And it's not even a sacrifice, it's really just because you care and you love them, and you're willing to put aside yourself to tend to their needs. Because I may not like going out to events, but you do. So instead of doing it every other day like you do, I'll do it on a Friday night. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll do it with you during this time, and that'll be my compromise and sacrifice for you. Whereas like I might like watching anime, you don't. So your compromise for me is that, okay, I don't like watching this, but I'll watch it for my man. You know what I'm saying? Just and actually be intentional about like, oh, who's that character, or what's this? And then you come to find out she actually might like it. You know, like so I guess just like you're just not ready to be in a relationship if you just can't compromise or sacrifice for the one that you really love and see yourself with for the rest of your life.
I'm gonna just keep this short, cause I mean, yeah, you know you're meant to be single when you can't trust nobody, and then that's all I'm gonna say about that.
say that. Actually.
No,
Expand. All right.
what you mean? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, I don't think I've ever heard those words before.
I mean, it's hard to really find somebody that you trust nowadays, but I feel like for me at least. But like, I mean, I got people in my life that I do trust, and that's the people that you see me with. But if you see me with somebody else, that means I trust them for real. So.
My mindset is to pursue a relationship is when I think I know I'm ready to do life with someone, because like I'm not here to waste time anyway to grow with someone. I want to grow with someone, but also when you're leading towards longevity and marriage is the goal, the mirror thing, it's all about serving someone else. How can I make your life better, help you be better, and it's vice versa. Like the whole mirror thing. Hopefully, you get with someone that you're supposed to be with. They're gonna show you everything, like your reflection, and be okay with them pointing out like that little bit of thing that you got to do better. So I feel like it is like a selfless thing, like a selfless love, because how can I make them a better person? I'm putting myself aside so that I can help them or make them feel better or be a better person. Or in other words, I'm serving God through my actions towards this person. So that's what I keep hearing, and that's what I wanted to say.
This is very metaphorical, but you know you're meant to be single right now if you're there to change the water and not grow the plant.
If you're here to change,
break it down.
Right there. Nope. Right there.
Break it down. Nobody got it.
Let him cook.
You know,
To water the grass, that's greener.
that's what I mean by that is, you know, a lot of relationships, especially or what I feel, especially in younger people, have the wrong motives. We go in and we see someone that we find attractive or that we could see ourselves in a relationship with, and then we take all their qualities and we think to ourselves, I don't like that. That needs to change. Not, I don't like that. We need to grow.
Drop the mic.
Don't drive it. It's more expensive.
So,
You went from I to we.
Like not every.
yeah, that's a lot of people, and it kind of goes into that whole self-obsession thing. A lot of people will get into a relationship because they're me hungry. They're ready to grow themselves, but they're not ready to grow someone else. You know, and a relationship, you know, it's not just you. It's not what you can get out of it. It's not what you benefit from. It's what y'all benefit from. It's what you can grow. It's the lives y'all can change. It
Power couple.
yeah, a relationship is one organism that consists of two people. It's the same thing as, you know, you can't run an engine without gas. You can put an engine in a car and push it down a hill, but it's only going to go so far without fuel in it, if that makes sense. You have to play off of each other and grow off of each other. So,
Last one, and we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, I was just gonna talk about how like you know you're meant to be single if you can't be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like it's just, it just like if you can't go and reach down into the deepest, darkest parts of yourself, or let somebody else even do that and like point out things that you need to grow from, or you being able to do that to somebody else, and you shouldn't be in a relationship. It's just that simple.
Good.
Can I just have one last thing?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Here, pass this.
You know you're meant to be single if you still have unhealed traumas.
Yes.
That's a huge one, and especially in today's society.
That's
So, yeah.
funny. He was talking about telepathy. I was actually gonna end on that, and it's funny because y'all know how these conversations go. They can go on forever, and obviously I know everybody got thoughts that they want to get out. So I don't want to cut it off in the sense that you can't speak up. We want to continue this conversation. So like next episode, if we want to pick up on this, we can do that definitely. I'll leave because we're also live. Y'all say what's up to the live. So he said it, but like sometimes you know you're meant to be single if you still got that rebellion in you, because it's not fair to the next person.
Right.
That was one of the questions we was gonna get to, but we didn't. But it's okay. We can pick it up next time. So we appreciate you guys participating today. Again, this is the Sis N Lil Broments podcast. Y'all give it up for yourselves.
All y'all can follow us on social media at We Sis N Lil Bro. So that's WESIS, the letter NLILBRO. We are on YouTube. Y'all make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, y'all. Everybody say subscribe. Subscribe. Yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And we just want to thank y'all for coming out and, you know, being yourself, being open, being honest. And we just finna turn up, okay? So y'all make sure to follow us, and we finna have a party. Let's go. Let's get it.